Alright, we're live. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris, and this is my channel Barnun 11970. I like to do videos when I have something to say, and I think this one might be pretty important and very necessary for people who want to progress to other levels and try and get out of the situations that they are in. If you've never seen my channel before, I would recommend watching a couple of videos, or at least watch this one to the end. Give it a chance, because there's always a method to my madness, and it may not seem like it makes sense at first, but then if you watch the whole thing and listen to it, you'll, what I like to call, understand. So hopefully you'll give that the opportunity, because one of the things people have explained to me over the years is I have a very, I guess the easiest way is a simplistic form of having people understand. So even if you're somebody that's brand new to trying to improve your life, you'll be able to understand this better, and it makes it easier, because it doesn't matter how smart someone is. If they speak in a way that you cannot understand, you're going to phase it out, and then you might give up out of frustration. And I definitely don't want that. So we're going to talk about basically what's going on in the world, why it actually is necessary for change, and for you to get out of whatever rut you're in, is to come with grips that in this particular realm of reality, for you to progress to a higher level, you have to make peace with the fact that pain, suffering, negativity is necessary in this plane of existence if you wish to progress. Now, there are many different levels in the universe, multiverse, whatever you want to call it. But we're not at the top level. We're near the bottom. We're somewhere near the middle. Which means if you want to graduate to the next level, sometimes you have to deal with certain things you may not like. And if you see in this world, there's a lot of hatred, a lot of division, there's a lot of war, there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of loss, there's a lot of fear. Now, with free will, you basically make the choice of what you decide to do. You can regress or progress. That is always up to you. And the problem is, the world worries about what everybody else does, and they forget about themselves, which means you will never progress, and you will continue to regress. Because you'll see victimhood, you'll see the evil, you'll see the negativity, you'll see the pain as bad, instead of motivational tools. And if you come to grips with it that way, that it has a purpose, and its purpose is actually good because it can help you become better, things will start to change, and the very things you don't like will start changing for the better, which is the ironic part. Because I want you to think like a video game. First of all, if a video game was you turned it on, you make your character, you walk 2 steps, and you've completed the game, game over. Would you buy that game? If you didn't know about it and you played it, would you play it again? Would you be happy you played it? No. Why? There's no challenge. Think of another aspect of a video game. You're playing the game, you're doing pretty well, it's struggling, but every now and then you solve the puzzle, you move and progress to the next level, but as you'll notice, as you progress to another level, it gets harder and harder. Now, what would happen? Let's say you're in a scene like what you're seeing in the image in front of you, and you're surrounded by the enemies, and you don't know your way out. Now, you could fight your way out, you could try and sneak away, but think of this scenario. What if you decided, oh, this is too hard, I'm just not going to play anymore, and you just leave the character right there, doesn't progress anywhere, just stands there while the enemy's all around him? What do you think's going to happen to that character if you decide to do nothing? Do you think all the enemies going to say, oh, well, he's not fighting back, so we should just go away? No. They'll attack until he's dead. So the point of the matter is when you do nothing with pain and adversity, you regress and not progress. Because life does not stop because you decided to give up. or feel sorry for yourself. Because again, if that character who's surrounded by those enemies gets on his hands and knees and starts praying, the enemy's still going to get him. If he gets down on his hands and knees and starts to cry, the enemy's going to get him. If he decides to try and bribe them with money, the enemy's going to get him. So in other words, what you're saying is if you don't face your adversity, the negative thing that you don't want ends up happening because you did nothing to try and change it. Now, I'm not saying like that soldier had to shoot his way out. He could try and escape. Try and sneak away. There's always different things to do. But if you do nothing, you're letting the world push you. Because pain is a motivator. Think about a war. Some of the best inventions that we have today came out of necessity. Harsh times create change, which is positive in the future. It just may not seem that way at that particular moment. And because people live in the now, which is, you should live in the now, but you should also pay attention to the future. Because like I've said, if you're driving in a car and you're headed towards a cliff, if you just only live in the now, you're not paying attention to where you're headed. So living in the now is important, but also the direction you're headed is important as well. Looking behind you is irrelevant because you cannot change the past. You may be able to learn from it, but if you look today, what are people learning through the past? They're learning about how people hate one another. It's what you learn. And that's why intelligence is a pretty bad thing. Wisdom is amazing because wisdom is based on experience. And I'll give you an example. Can a very stupid person build an atom bomb? A person with mental disability, can they build a flamethrower? Probably not. Or at the very least, it will be a lot more challenging. It takes a very intelligent person to create a nuclear arsenal. But there's no wisdom behind it because a nuclear bomb does not plant flowers, does not feed the hungry, does not help the homeless. It's meant to destroy. So intelligence is not necessarily a good thing for humanity. But what are we taught these days? Listen to the intelligent people. If you want your life to change, you have to face your demons. Think about exercise. Exercise, when you lift heavy weights, you are literally breaking and tearing your muscles so they can repair themselves. And if you have proper nutrition, you will actually build muscle mass. So when you lift a weight, you're actually damaging your muscles, but it rebuilds stronger. Nobody goes to the gym for the first day and says, oh, this is so much fun. I'm having such a great time sweating and being in pain, and I love it. Now, there might be some people that are ingesting steroids, which I don't recommend you do, that might get that feeling, but the average person, when they're doing hard work, is not going to sit there and say how much fun it is. It's fun to lie on the beach and go swimming, but you're not going to compare that same feeling to exercise. But which one is going to make you better? Lying on the beach or doing the hard work? Because the hard work creates positive results. Who do you think's going to get in shape faster? The person that uses the blood, sweat, and tears and works out 3 hours a day, every day, wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, eats right, puts in the effort, goes through the pain? Or the person that sits in their bed crying all day, or eating bonbons, or watching TV? So the easiest way is not always necessarily the better way. Now, you're going to hear from a lot of philosophers and a lot of people that maybe do channeling and talk to higher sources, or maybe at a different intellectual level, that they'll tell you that stuff is not necessary. Well, that's true, but it always depends on your specific area in your life. This particular plane of existence is all about pain and suffering. Why do you think animals eat animals? Everything is a predator and a prey here. Now, if you do not like that, well, sitting there crying about it does not fix the problem and not get you out of it. You have to progress by saying, okay, I am in existence for whatever reason I chose to come here. I came here because maybe I needed a challenge, because when you live forever, you eventually get pretty bored of everything. If everything was perfect, eventually you'd be bored of it, especially if it lasted forever. A video game is not fun if you don't do anything. Think about the movie The Matrix. Just imagine if you paid, let's say the movie tickets are $15. You paid $15 to go see The Matrix. And the movie starts with Neo. He's asleep. He wakes up, and he's got superpowers. He can do anything he wants. 2 seconds later, they shoot to the enemy, Agent Smith. And he has all the negative superpowers. Scene 3. A minute later, Neo meets the Agent Smith and says to Agent Smith, "Can you please stop being bad so we can get together and live a happy, harmonious life?" And Agent Smith says, "Okay," the end. Would you be happy you spent that $15 to watch that movie? Or would you be pretty mad that you wasted $15 on a movie that lasted 2 minutes and there was nothing that ever happened? So we chose to come here for whatever reason. Maybe it was because of a challenge. Maybe because the universe is testing to see how far away you can go from the light and still find your way back. Well, you won't go back if you decide to not move forward. Do you ever have, for example, I remember when I was a little kid, when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, we had to hatch chickens. I'm sure many people did this when they were in school. And we took the chicken home. And I noticed that it kind of attached itself to me like I was its mother, where I would put it down and it would come running towards me. And eventually I would kind of play with it because I thought it was fun. I would go across the yard in my house, put the little baby chick there, and I would run across to the other side of the yard. And of course it would come running. Now, think about your life that way. If that chick decided to not move or run away, do you think its life would improve, or you think it might be more dangerous? And people are so afraid that sometimes you have to take a step back to make 2 steps forward, that they're not willing to take that step back because they think of that as regression when it's the beginning of progression. In other words, if you have a pinball machine, you can't play the game if you don't pull the lever back to snap the ball forward. So if you want true change in your life, if you really are ready and you're tired of feeling sad, tired of feeling depressed, tired of being frustrated, tired of being fearful, ask yourself this: what have you done to get out of it? Have you cursed the pain around you and the negativity around you, or have you appreciated it for its motivational tool to get you off your butt? Now, if you don't listen, that creates more resistance. Prime example. If I put my hand on the stove, and the stove is not on, and somebody comes along and says, you may not have your best interest in keeping your hand on that stove because you could burn yourself. And I'm trying to tell you as a friend to avoid your pain and suffering. And I sit there with my ego and all proud and stubbornness and say, I have control. I'm not going to feel pain. I'm not moving my hand because I don't want to. I don't have to. So the person says, all right, I'm just going to prove a point just to show you how you can avoid pain by actually paying attention and doing something. So the person turns up the heat just a little bit. And you're sitting there with your hand on the stove, all defiant. Ha, I don't feel a thing. I'm not moving my hand. And the guy says, you may want to move your hand. I'm telling you, you're going to be very happy if you did. And I say, nope, I'm not going to do it. You can't make me. So he turns it up a little bit more. Now it's warm. I'm like, all right, that actually feels pretty good. It's not bad. It's a little cold out. My hand is being able to take it. I'm not moving my hand. And again, the person says, your best interest, you might want to move away. So he turns it up a little bit more. Now it's starting to hurt a little bit, but because I'm stubborn and I don't want to do anything, I'll take it. And I'll curse him for it. But I won't move my hand. And I say in defiance, it hurts a little bit, but I'm tough. I can deal with it. Give me your best shot. You're a jerk for doing it. The guy says, last chance. You may want to move your hand away. I don't listen because I'm stubborn. Or I don't believe him. Whatever. Says, okay. Turns it up all the way. I've now burned my hand. And guess what? My hand moved away from the stove. Now, what did we learn from that? From that bad exchange? One, if somebody gives you helpful advice and you choose not to listen through your stubbornness or non-belief, if somebody's intentionally trying to help you and you don't listen, you're probably going to have things get worse before it gets better. If you don't deal with the problem that is getting worse, it will continue to get worse. And eventually, the very thing that somebody warned you about ends up happening. Now, you can learn from it and never do it again. So if I was to sit there and put my hand on the stove once again and that person came along and we went through that whole thing again, that's pretty stupid on my behalf. I didn't learn anything from it. And then I'll burn my hand again or burn my other hand. So what is your stubbornness, your pride, your ego doing to help you? It is keeping you negative because you are afraid to move and progress instead of seeing it as a puzzle. A puzzle is not fun if there's two pieces you connect. It doesn't take an intelligent person to take two pieces of a puzzle and put them together. You just have to have eyes, some sort of working brain, and at least one hand. But if there's a puzzle with 5 million pieces and they all look the same, yes, many people are not even going to attempt because it's too hard. But they'll never solve the puzzle. They'll never progress. They'll be there forever. Because what if your life doesn't move until you solve that puzzle? Well, if you refuse to do it, guess where you stay? Where you are. So if you want true change, you don't sit there and say, well, the world is harsh, the world is cruel, the world is bad, the world is unfair, and do nothing, because it will continue to be that way. Or you can say, all right, life is unfair. I accept that. It will motivate me because most things I've done in my life that were positive were probably from a result of something so bad I had no choice. And you see it as a pushing, loving, guiding tool that the pain is to motivate you to move forward. And if you don't want to feel the pain anymore, you have to move forward. Because if you don't, you continue to feel the pain, just like if I didn't move my hand from the stove, I keep feeling the heat. All I have to do is lift it up, and the pain is gone. What did my stubbornness do other than cause me pain? Again, the entire universe is not about pain. But this particular plane of existence, for some reason, is here to prove that no matter how bad things are, good things can come from it when you focus and pay attention to it. And it will stay infinitely horrible if you do nothing or feel sorry for yourself or feel fear. The game will not end. Your soul is not part of your body. Your body is a vessel for your soul. Your body will deteriorate and fade away. Your soul will just move on to the next vessel. Just like in a video game. When the character dies, it relives. And some people say, well, it only has 3 lives. Well, can't you restart the game anytime you want? And get those 3 lives again? Maybe get a cheat code? The point of the matter is the reason why things are so bad right now is so many people are wishing for change. Be careful what you wish for, you might get it. The way to get change and the way to motivate people is to do something so harsh that you are forced to move. Because if things are fine, you have no incentive to move. Because what if you were living in a house and everybody said it's a bad area, you shouldn't live there, but no one's causing you problems, you're okay, you're not a millionaire, but you're not progressing anywhere, and you're stagnant, and you're not going to move. Well, all of a sudden, a week later, you find out, because you live in a wooded area that surrounds your house, that there's a fire 10 miles down the road headed in your direction. Guess what you're going to do? Well, if you stay there, you probably might die. Or you'll say, we got to get everything out of here as fast as we can so we don't die in the fire and don't lose everything. Pain, fear, negativity motivates. But because everybody is told you're a victim and you need to be saved and it's not your fault, nobody is progressing. If you're in the 5th grade and you keep failing because you won't learn the lessons, do you think you'll go on to the 6th grade, or you think you'll repeat the 5th grade? That's what this life is all about. And because some people out there have convinced you that you're the victim and you don't need anything and we'll save you, they've put you in a trap. Because how much have you progressed? And I can tell most people don't want to hear this. Out of 47,000 people, 9 people are listening and 1 person has liked the video. What does that say about how people do not want to really change? Most people like to be victims. I mean, I'll give you a prime example. If you watch the video I did yesterday, I talked about the fact, after I did a motivating video 2 days ago trying to help people, one of my cats got out of the house and I had to spend 48 hours basically of no sleep trying to get that cat, getting sliced up, getting full of dirt, full of sweat, everything. But I didn't give up because my love for the cat was stronger than my hate for the inconvenience and the pain that I was experiencing. Last night, because we live in Florida and we've had a heat wave of average of 93 to 95 degrees for the past 2 weeks, we just found out last night our central air conditioner broke. It's not working. I've been out of work for 3 months. My wife is going to have to pay for it because she's the only one with a job, but she's also paying the rent and all the bills. But I know not to be afraid and scared and frustrated because I know something will come out of it and we'll be okay. You could spend your whole life sitting there crying, praying, hoping, feeling depressed, feeling scared, and not moving anywhere. So you can continue to feel that way. Because life here is hard. Or you can use it to motivate yourself and get out of it. So the ironic part is, to get out of the very thing you hate, you have to face it, accept it, and move on from it. But most people don't want to do that. And yes, Glenn, this is live now. I just don't read the live chats while I'm talking. Otherwise, I lose my train of thought. Because I don't plan what I'm going to say. I don't write it down. I just speak from the heart and speak from my head. And whatever comes out, comes out. And I think that's what some people like about this. But obviously, not many people will watch, not many people will like, because they don't want to hear, oh, I have to do the work? Screw that. I'll wait for somebody else. Well, let me ask you something. We've been waiting on leaders throughout history to help us become better. How's that working out, ladies and gentlemen? How many millennias have to go by before people get it through their thick, stubborn, egotistical skulls that those that are in the power, or at least the power that we give them, because they don't have it, we give it because we allow it, because we don't change it. How's it working out? All these politicians and all these kings and all these dictators and all these princes and queens and people throughout history, have they brought us closer to a utopia? Because if that's the case, why are we where we are right now, thousands of years after leaders have promised us they'll help us and save us? How's that working out? Ever see the movie Back to the Future? Hello, McFly. Time to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. If you want change, then change is going to push you. I mean, look how a bullet exits a gun. It has to explode, which means there is fire. There is heat. There is forcefulness. and it propels the bullet forward. Out of chaos comes order. So you can have channels that will tell you, oh, it's not your fault, and it's okay, and just sit down and pray. And, you know, we feel so bad for you that bad things are happening. Instead of saying, well, bad things are happening to try and motivate me to do something better in my life. And if I refuse to listen or see it that way, that is my fault. People don't like to take responsibility. But until you do, your life will not improve. As they say, poop happens. Deal with it. If your cat or dog poops on the floor, crying about it doesn't fix it. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. But again, like I said in this, and you see it here, you won't like the answer, because the answer is get off your butts, stop feeling sorry for yourself, realize that negativity is there to motivate you to go forward if you choose to do so, and will not go away just because you close your eyes and wish it to. Maybe at one point when you reach another higher vibrational level, that will not be the issue, but you're here. Face it to move on, or ignore it and stay the same. And if you're staying the same and you don't like it, well, that's kind of dumb. But it's your choice. So again, out of 47,000 subscribers, 18 have been listening right now, and 5 people have liked what I had to say. Which means the majority of people want to be pampered, want to be told all they have to do is get on their knees and pray. Do you think God created humans just so he can or she can take care of you? Because then what was the purpose of creating humans and humanity? If all the purpose of them to be is to be taken care of. Well, that'd be kind of dumb. Just imagine if you built a robot because you wanted that robot to live its own life or help you, and you're spending your whole time fixing it. You'd be questioning why you built that robot. If it's not doing anything for you, if it's not doing anything for itself, it continually breaks down and continually asks you to help it, and that's all you do is spend your time helping fix that robot's problems, well, you'd kind of sit there and say, why the hell did I make this thing? And you probably won't make any more. And if it breaks down for a final time, you might say, you know what? I don't ever want to fix it again. Let it stay broke. So, here's the thing. The world could be burning around you. Doesn't mean you are burning. So why are you letting the suffering of others affect you? Are you constantly under fire right now? Are you... You know, here's a breaking news. You're going to die one day. I hate to break it to you. Somehow, some way, someday, you are going to die. Get over it. Move on. Accept it. People are so afraid of death right now, they stopped remembering that people die. And it's going to happen to every one of us. Our bodies die, not our soul. Our soul will continue onward. Trust me, I've almost died so many times, I've faced my own mortality and I've accepted it. That one day, it will happen. But if I spend my whole life trying to keep myself from the inevitable, that's kind of foolish and a waste of a life, because you're not living, you're surviving. And what was the purpose of being here if all you're doing is keeping yourself from having the inevitable happen that's going to happen anyway? Hello, McFly. This whole world is so afraid of dying right now. No one's living. Everybody's locking themselves in their home. Everybody's no longer trusting everyone. Everybody's yelling at each other. Everybody's telling everybody else that they're wrong. And how is that a happy ending? That's one hell of a crappy book to ever read. That nobody's loving anymore. Well, I can't say nobody, but most people aren't loving anymore. Most people are divided. You don't have to be a part of that. You don't like it. It's like TV. You don't like what you're watching, change the channel. If you sit there constantly watching something you don't like just so you can complain about it, well, you like complaining and that's who you are. So just accept that you're that person. Or don't do it, because it's a waste of a life. You're going to die one day. Who knows how, who knows when. So you're spending your life now. The world is telling you to protect yourself because you might die. Well, guess what? You're going to do it anyway. So how many of you are living right now? And you're allowing others to tell you how to live your life. They're controlling your free will, not because they're forcing it on you. It's because you're allowing it to happen. You're accepting it. Well, that's free will. That's the choice. But, hello, you will never progress. And the very thing you hate will continue and probably get worse. And then you'll sit there again, oh, woe is me. Or you'll go to drugs, or you'll go to crime, or you'll go to some kind of addiction. Or you'll go into depression. Will that help you progress further? You want to shoot an arrow, you got to pull the arrow back. Pulling the arrow back makes it progress further, faster. How do you think you're going to jump further? By standing in your one spot and jumping forward? Or running back a little bit, running and then jumping? Which one's going to get you further? So that's all I have to say about this video. To the 7 people out of my 47,000 who liked this video, I thank you, and I hope those 7 will actually use something in this video to make their life better by not being afraid of pain, by not being angry at pain, by not avoiding pain, but instead learning from it so they don't have to feel that pain anymore. I will still be happy I made this video. To the rest of the people who will either thumb it up or ignore it or not do anything or not even listen because they don't want to hear the truth, well, I hope your life is perfect. And if it's not and you're not changing it, that's your fault. Tough love. And that's why, like I said, last night, our air conditioner, our central air conditioner, where I live in Florida, where there's been a heat wave of 93 to 95 degrees every day for the past 2 weeks, has died, and we're going to have to spend a lot of money, even though I've been out of work now for 3.5 months. We'll find a way. I'm not sitting there getting depressed and stressed. It's not fun, but I know something good will come out of it. And look what I did. I made a video that might help now up to 9 people. Just imagine if I got depressed because of the air conditioner breaking and it's going to take a lot of our money away and my wife is going to be incredibly burdened from it. And then didn't make this video. But because I chose to not be the victim, I decided to still do something good. I bet some of you will appreciate that. Which proves that you can, if you feel sorry for yourself, you won't do something that can help yourself or others. So I've posted my Patreon. If anybody wants to join it, please feel free. I want to thank 2 people. One is Bella, who became a Patreon member. I only have like 6 or 7 Patreon members. So Bella, thank you. And I also want to thank, and I only want to say their first name, because they sent me a donation. And their name is, well, it's Ocean View Productions, VEAU. So I wanted to thank them both for that, because it does help during these times. And I don't do videos saying, oh, you got to pay me. That's why even on Patreon, I don't have it where, oh, get exclusive content. Because then that means I'm saying if you want to hear something that's important, you have to pay for it. Everything I give away is free. And I don't require anybody to do anything. But if you do, it helps and it's nice. But you don't have to, especially if you can't. But if you want to change the world, you have to first change yourself. If you're afraid of the world, you're not going to progress. You will never have an arrow move forward if you don't pull back the string. I mean, you could take it in your hand and throw it, but it ain't going to go far. So if you like where you are right now, continue to do what you're doing. Continue to feel sorry for yourself. Continue to make excuses. Continue to get depressed. Continue to wait for Superman to save you. Or get off your butt and say, today's the day I make the test and see if Chris is right or full of you-know-what. Because here's the best part. If you try and change your life and it doesn't work, you can always go back to the way you were. But if you never progress, it's just the same as regressing, because the world is going to move forward and it's going to leave without you. If you don't get on that train to move forward, you are going to be left behind. And that must mean you like where you are. And here's the thing. If you really don't like where you are and you're not doing anything to move, guess what? It's going to get worse until eventually you die from it or you eventually move. Because if you're in a house and the woods around you is on fire and it's heading towards your house, I don't care how much you pray, how much you cry, how much you beg and plead, how angry or whatever you do, if you don't get out of that house, you are more likely to burn than not. And whose fault is that? And how did your stubbornness and your ego and your vanity and your fear help you there? Fear can be good if you listen to it and see that some of the best inventions in the world happened through tragedy and happened very quickly. It's a motivating tool, but not for everyone. You choose where you want to be. Okay, and Flat Cat Earth says, come on, Freemasons got us supposed to be locked in tight. Okay, if that's what you believe, then congratulations with that. I don't see it. Are you in a cage right now that's locked? Last time I checked, they haven't put everybody under lock and key and said, you are now concrete walled around your house with no way of escaping. So Flat Cat Earth, if you want to live that life, if it makes you feel happy, if it makes you get attention, because congratulations, you got attention from your negativity, I don't believe in what you say. But you can. Good luck with that. You've put the chains on yourself. Nobody has got you at gunpoint making you stay in. You choosing to do it. You're playing the victim. Thank you for proving my point. Good luck with being angry. Good luck with being defensive. Good luck with thinking you're trapped. And see how much that improves your life. It may make you some money making some very negative videos on YouTube, because most people like those. They don't like truth. They don't like effort. Why do you think many people take diet pills and go to doctors to get tummy tucks instead of eating right and exercising? Flat Cat Earth, good luck with what you say. They control the food. Okay, so you cannot grow vegetables in your yard? You're incapable of growing your own food? Keep playing the victim. Keep making excuses. Keep justifying it so it makes your ego feel like it's achieving something. If that's the way you want to live, it's your choice. I don't resonate with it. I don't agree with it. But congratulations yet again on getting some much needed attention. And that's the end of that. So thank you very much. You all live your life the way you want. Make excuses like this person is proving my point to be. Or get out of the range of the fire. If you don't like living in a town where people are shooting everyone, well, if you're 100 miles away, the bullet ain't reaching you. But if you stay there, you're increasing your risks. Alright, so obviously this particular person is a drama queen, so we're going to remove him from the conversation, put him in a timeout, and I'll wish him luck with his wonderful, wonderful negativity. So to everybody else, thank you very much for listening. I'm sorry it's not what you want to hear. If you think the world is all rainbows and sunshine, hey, if it is for you, that's great. Not everybody's struggling in this time. From somebody's tragedy is another person's profit. Many people making a heck of a lot of money right now. They're not suffering. It's all a choice. Good luck with yours. Thanks for listening. Thank you to the 11 people that liked this video. Thank you for the 19 people that watched. And hopefully you'll thumb it up, share it. And if you don't, that's okay. Have a great day, everybody. Have a happy and safe 4th of July.